Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats, typically in your direction, if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball today, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The best players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Twisted Tuesday has begun. You like overtime? We've got overtime. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Washington Capitals have just dropped the puck in overtime, tied at 1. Carolina have outshot Washington 31-14 in this hockey game, although if you get into shot attempts, and we'll get you the exact number, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that Carolina is like literally over like 125, 130 shot attempts right now. It's been an ambush. It's been a blitzkrieg. And very similar to me to the Montreal Canadiens and the Washington Capitals series, in which that was like the closest 5-game series ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you watched it, it was like, man, the Canadiens look like you wouldn't be able to tell who was the 1 seed and the 8 seed or whatever the hell it was and the wild card and all that, the 2 seed and all the seedings. Seedings don't really matter to the National Hockey League all that much. And, like, you really couldn't tell. But Logan Thompson, and I've said this before, and I think I was ahead of the curve, to me, the best goaltender in the playoffs has been Logan Thompson. He's really, really, really keeping the Capitals in these games. And then, conversely, the Washington Capitals are really good at scoring with limited scoring opportunities. Like, they've got snipers on their team. They've got dudes that bury their chances. Like, we saw it against the Montreal Canadiens. Like, the Canadiens would have, 5 chances in front of the net, and it would be like, oh, my God, what a save. Oh, my God, he missed the net. Oh, my God, he hit the crossbar. Washington would have 1 chance in the slot. Boom. Oh, they scored. Right? Like, the Capitals, bury their chances. So, I'm not talking negatively about them when I say they're getting outshot all the time. Shots on goal can be deceptive, but they've been getting dominated tonight. But they had a 1-0 lead. The Canes just couldn't score. Canes finally broke through midway through the third period of play. And now here we are in overtime right now. There's a lot of talk about how great the NHL playoffs is. And there's often people can't just say, hey, you know what? The NBA playoffs are great too. It's all, you can't beat the NHL playoffs. Well, I tell you what, the way these NBA playoffs have been going, this is legit the best playoffs in recent memory in the National Basketball Association. A lot of times the NBA playoffs, it's only a couple of teams that can win. This year, this thing is wide open. Normally in the NBA playoffs, it's just like one team blows one team out, then the other team blows the other team out, and it just goes back and forth. And, they're not really competitive games. This is like, it's on. The Indiana Pacers are on the verge of going to the conference finals right now. Again, don't forget, the Pacers get slept on. If you recall, I said, who's the sleeper team? I said the Pacers. The Pacers, they can score. The Pacers can score on anybody, right? The Pacers have these lapses, right? They don't play the best defense, the Pacers. They play, let's try to play defense. You know what I mean? They play they play defense in the playoffs like a team that doesn't play defense in the regular season that's trying to start to play defense now. So they're not very good defensively, but they can get a stop here or there, and they can score. We saw it tonight. The Pacers, dude. The Pacers had 24 points midway through the second quarter, and they ended up with $120. Once the shots start falling for the Pacers, and what I like about the Pacers, they don't Halliburton gets the love because the NBA media loves to individualize the NBA all the time. But what makes the Pacers good is they got a bunch of dudes. Nembhard's good. You've got Ben Mathurin. Ben Mathurin's a badass. Remember this kid at Arizona, man? He was a pure scorer with Arizona from Montreal. Really tough kid, too. Grew up in, one of the toughest parts of Montreal, in a hardcore Haitian gangbanger neighborhood. And you could tell, Mathurin, the kid's not intimidated. He was the one that basically said when he got drafted, he goes, I want to find out how good this LeBron James guy actually is in real life. And even LeBron thought it was funny, right? Mathurin's he thinks differently, this kid. He's got attitude and confidence. Pascal Siakam, to me, one of the more underrated players in the NBA. And the Carolina Hurricanes have just defeated the Washington Capitals 2-1 in overtime. They blasted one in from the point. I don't know if it got tipped. One of those low steamers. That's the best way, man. You see in the playoffs, these dudes, they all tee it up and stuff, and they often miss the net. You blast it low. It's hard for the goalie to see. There's a lot of traffic. Goaltenders, too. It's harder to stop a low, hard shot, especially stick side. And I think it's where he just got beat, actually. I don't know. There was a traffic situation, but Carolina were the rightful winners of this game. We're on the right side of this game as well as we were on the Carolina Hurricanes. So cash the ticket. Carolina wins 2-1 in OT. Let's see. Blasted glove side, but low shot. Was it hit? It's one of these tough to tell. It might have hit a couple of people on the way there. Did it change directions? Not really. You know what? It was one of those, whatever, dude. The guy shot it from the blue line. There was a bunch of bodies and sticks in front of it. I don't think Thompson saw it until the last second. And a bunch of people sort of tried to hit it. I don't know, it's one of those we got to really see it in slow motion. Either way, does it matter? The goal counts. 2-1, final score. Carolina takes game one. Carolina were minus 180 series favorites in this series, despite the fact that the Washington Capitals had Slavin from the point. I don't think it was touched. See, Jarvis tried to deflect it, but I think he missed it. But I think it threw Thompson off anyways. But like I said, I don't think anybody, unless you bet the prop, and I know the Carolina Hurricanes don't care, and I know I don't care. I know we just hit the play. But I also know that the Vegas Golden Knights scored early against the Edmonton Oilers. We got a 1-0 game right now. 11 minutes left in the first period of play. A little more than 11 minutes right now. We're on the Edmonton Oilers in this game. We're also on over 1.5 for the first period, which I haven't been playing. Regular season, it has pretty much a nightly play in a bunch of games. But things tighten up. Edmonton Oiler games, as well as we've seen in the playoffs, people, you think of the Oilers and you think of goals, and there it is. There's the over 1.5 in the first period. Good news, bad news. Good news is we just hit the over 1.5 for the first period. The bad news is the Vegas Golden Knights just took a 2-0 lead. I was going to say with Edmonton, they're kind of strange, Edmonton, in a way that their games always end up 5-4 or 6-5 or something stupid, yet they often start off slow, right? Where you're thinking, oh, maybe tonight's the night, actually, that they just play a normal type of game. So now they're down 2-0. We all know about the dreaded 2-0 lead in the National Hockey League. And we also know the Edmonton Oilers aren't going to panic being down 2-0. That's not Pickard's fault, that goal. There's Mark Stone. 4 goals in his last 4 games. Stone's a big-time playoff performer. And that was more of a defensive breakdown. Like, the Oilers are like the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the thing with the Oilers. They're super dangerous, and they can score a bunch of goals. And, you know what I mean? They can score 5 goals in a period for real. They're like a football team. It's like, yeah, listen, they really could come back from 28 down in the fourth quarter, these guys. Like, they can score that fast. But they also can give up goals. Like, this is the Oilers' problem, right? Like, the Oilers are always down 2-0, aren't they? Like, you know what I mean? It's like they're always down 2-0. Yeah, but we hit the over 1.5 for the first period of play. Golden State Warriors and the T-Wolves. We got action going on tonight. 2018 T-Wolves right now. Low-scoring start. We played 1 quarter of play at the Target Center in Minneapolis, which is probably like the worst arena in the NBA right now. But that's another story. Let's roll. This is Sports Rage.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. The Twisted Tuesday continues. Man, you know, just a great time of the year that's actually really living up to the hype right now. Great hockey games. Got a game that goes to, you can't top it. You had a game that goes to overtime tonight. And I know it's not like sort of high-profile teams. People aren't used to like, oh, Carolina and Washington. You know what I mean? It's not like an original six or this big rivalry, but they really don't like each other. They're both really good. It is fascinating to me that the Carolina Hurricanes were minus 180 series favorites, you know, considering the Capitals had more points than they did in the regular season. The Capitals have home ice. Capitals just won their series, and you know what I mean? The Capitals haven't done anything wrong. But let's give credit to the odds maker for recognizing that Carolina are really good. And let's give credit to the odds maker for also the eyeball test in which, as I stated, the Capitals beat the Montreal Canadiens. But, you know, the Canadiens were a super young team with a bunch of 21-year-olds on the ice. And they kept on losing, like, you know, just by one play here, one play there. Logan Thompson has been the best goalie in the playoffs as far as I'm concerned so far, but he can only do so much. So I do think the Carolina Hurricanes are going to win this series. Edmonton Oilers in a little bit of trouble early here tonight in Las Vegas, down 2-0. They just killed off a power play at least. Like, they could have been 3-0. So at least, and if anything, too, if there's a team that's used to being down, if there's a team that's, you know, we've seen it's able to come back in games and not panic, it is the Edmonton Oilers. So they're getting 2.5 right now. And I like the 2.5. I already have it as I played the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Edmonton. I played the Timberwolves money line and the Oilers plus 2.5. It was a late, stupid parlay that I put together because I was playing. I didn't really want to play Minnesota. I like the over of the game, and it's been a slow start. We'll see if it can pick up a little bit. We did hit the over in the Pacer game. We did hit the Pacers plus the points once again. Absolutely epic game. Donovan Mitchell scored 48 points tonight. It was like one of the best playoff performances ever. He was unstoppable. He kept on getting it to the rack over and over. The Pacers were down by like 14, 16, 12, like basically all night. And they just never really gave up. Cleveland went into a scoring lull, and Cleveland, of course, were playing without Hunter, Mobley, and Garland tonight. And the Pacers did what they had to do. They took advantage of their opportunity with a shorthanded Cavalier squad tonight. Carolina Hurricanes take advantage of dominating the Capitals this evening, and now we got a 2-0 hockey game. We got Andrew McKinnis ready to step up and in. McKinnis, let's roll. How you doing tonight?
What's up, Gabe? Doing very well, man. Second round is definitely not been underwhelming. That's for sure. I mean, first round ended with a bang, 2 amazing game 7s, and second round's off to a great start as well with the Leafs and Panthers game, and then now this early Capitals Hurricanes game. So far, so good with the second round.
Yeah, normally it takes a couple of games for teams to really start disliking each other, but the Canes and Capitals already dislike each other. And the Panthers and Leafs already like super hate each other. We're one game in, and we've already, you know, we've already had controversy, and we'll see what happens moving forward. But as far as what's going on here right now, how do you feel about this game? The Vegas Golden Knights up 2-0 right now. We got about 6.5 left in the first period of play, and the in-game number right now, the total is 7.5, plus 105 to the over, minus 135 to the under. Oilers are plus 350 on the money line. They're plus 2.5 on the puck line right now.
Yeah, I'm on the team total over for the Golden Knights, so feeling pretty good so far. I got plus 120 on them to get to 4. But having said that, we've seen it all playoff long so far. This Oilers team is never out of it. So obviously, I want to hit the pick that I originally locked in, but I wouldn't talk anybody out of, you know, let's say Vegas goes up 3-0. I wouldn't talk anybody out of a live spread bet on the Oilers or a live team total on the Oilers. I don't think the Oilers are out of it quite yet. You know, I'm feeling good about my original bet, but this game to me is far, far from over. So be very curious to see what ends up happening, Gabe. But the Vegas Golden Knights are much bigger than the Kings were. When I say bigger, I mean more physical. Their blue liners are big. Like, LA plays tough, but they're not really scary. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's really scared of the Kings. They're a tough defensive team, but I think Vegas is going to be a lot harder for the Oilers to score on.
Yeah, one thing with Vegas, it's hard to get pucks through to the net with these guys. Like, they block shots. They have very big bodies. They know their lanes very, very well. They don't make a lot of mistakes in their own end. Although, with all that being stated, Edmonton's pressing a little bit right now. If Edmonton can just get this next goal, we all see it all the time, guys. 2-0 leads in hockey games, for whatever reason, seem to backfire on the team that has the 2-0 lead more often than not. The next goal of this game is critical. Their shots are tied right now, 8 shots.
Minus 120, Gabe. Next goal, minus 120. Do we jump in?
What, Edmonton? They're pressing right now, McKinnis. They're cycling the puck again. Like, here we go. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, I thought that was in for a second.
And I think you talked about this last week as well, but they don't take penalties, man. They were I think the least penalized team in the NHL regular season. And in the first round, I think they were also one of the least penalized teams. So think about it. They're one of the biggest teams on the blue line, and they don't take penalties, whatever it is. I mean, think about how good the Oilers are in the power play. There were a couple games, because I bet the Kings in that series. There were a couple games where I'm like, man, just keep it 5-on-5. Just keep it 5-on-5. Don't let it go to the special teams. And if Vegas don't take power plays, it's going to be tough, because the way that the Oilers can zip the puck around on the power play. If it's 5-on-5, I think Vegas does well in this series.
It's a good point. And I don't know. I used to think I've seen a lot of plays that should be called for penalties. You're right. Vegas have been this way for years, in which they just don't take penalties. But the thing is, they play a pretty physical brand of hockey as well. So I find it kind of impossible that they get called as little as they do. But you're right, they're good at it. They're not quite as violently dirty as the Panthers are, right? Like the Vegas Golden Knights, they'll rough you up in the corner and, they'll do what it takes to try to win the battle, but they won't try to slew foot you, right? They won't try to spear you. They won't go all out like the Florida Panthers will. Now, you could argue you have to go all out. I've said it before that sort of the roughest, craziest team often will win the Stanley Cup. But I think the Panthers are taking it to a new level. And, it's hard to respect the way that they play, to be honest.
Think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's plus 700.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. Sirius XM Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. 2-0 for the Vegas Golden Knights. 4 minutes left in the first period of play. Golden State up by 14 right now on Minnesota. Minnesota are a weird team. They could beat anybody, but they have these off nights. We'll see if they can dial it up and come back. They're getting 3.5 right now. They're only down 14, so there's a little under 6 minutes left in the first half. In-game total all the way down to 193.5 right now, McKinnis. And you've got the Golden State Warriors in the first half. There it is, McKinnis. There it is. There it is. Ooh, there it is, baby. Edmonton Oilers on the board. Oh, yeah.
On the board.
Back at it.
You know, Gabe, I know you bet this. I saw your tweet, and I think
Corey
whether
Perry
it's
with the goal. Sorry, let me just throw it in there. Corey Perry with the goal.
Wow, Corey Perry. But can you see a world where the first period over hits in like every game of this series? Like, I mean, I could definitely see in Vegas or in Edmonton the first period over just being a move. And the funny thing is, we're still going to see 6s, 6.5s, but it's going to be a good bet. Like, what was the price you got on your first period over? Probably still reasonable.
Minus 130, but I did see that it closed at minus 150.
Okay. Well, I just
You're
feel
right,
like,
though. I haven't been playing the mechanics. I know you played them all the time in the regular season. In the playoffs, you and I talked about it last week. The theme has been unders in the first period and then in-game overs. The games open up as the game goes on. And I haven't been playing. I haven't played an over 1.5 in the first period in like a week or something, like, or whatever. And tonight I was like, oh yeah, I'm playing it. Like, you know what I mean?
Gabe, you're not going to believe this.
Vegas and Edmonton, I was like, oh, I'm playing it. And here we go. We got 3 goals in the first period.
I had the third period over in the Jets game when they in game 7.
Whoa.
1.6 seconds left. Third period over.
So you hit because of that.
Yeah. So everyone's like, wow, what a game. And I'm like, yeah, well, I tweeted out third period over and I just barely got it. So, and the funny thing is, I was usually, whenever I bet those, I'm hoping for an empty net goal. But then it was 2 goals for Winnipeg. Like, typically, whenever
you got
I
the empty,
take
2 empty nets the other side, though. Exactly. The
Yeah.
other team scored because of the empty net goal.
Yeah.
Edmonton got to be careful there. Vegas are all over them after the goal here. Like, if you're Edmonton, it's a disaster if you give up another goal and make it 3-1 before the period. Like, you're back in this thing, right? You know, get into the room at 2-1. Hell, maybe they could tie it. They just made a nice play to get it in the zone here. But this is going to be a fun series. What do you think of the in-game total of this game right now? 8.5. I know we see crazy stuff with the Oilers, but, man, this feels a little high, doesn't it? 8.5 right now?
Well, we talked about it, Gabe. I mean, it drove me crazy last week, like what you just talked about, when I took an over 1.5 in the first period and the full game went over. I think it was one of the Blues and Jets game. And
Be
so
0-0 after the first, then would finish at 7 goals
man.
or whatever. Yeah.
It's the worst. It's the worst. But it could happen here. I mean, let's be real here. The Vegas Golden Knights can score, but they don't want to play the Oilers game. Like, I will never forget that Oilers and Kings game. It was 4-3 Kings going into the third period, and the Oilers won 7-4. Like, that is the most Oilers game ever, to be down 4-3 and to win 7-4. The Vegas Golden Knights don't want to get involved in a game like that. They don't want to play a game like that. They have talent too, but I think that they need, I keep talking about the Blue Liners, they got to win a low-scoring game. And I think that, you know, it's not good to always do this, but when you go across all the series matchups, for the most part, I think you can correlate it. Like, if you look at Toronto and Florida for tomorrow, I think an under correlates with a Florida victory. I do. And it's not that they don't have talent. They've got so much talent. But I do think that I saw your tweets, and I respect what you were saying. Toronto played open hockey. They played pond hockey a little bit out there. That's their kind of game. And I think for the Oilers, if they say, all right, you want to keep playing 3 goals in the first period, let's do it. 1 to 5, that benefits them. So I think Vegas would prefer more of, at this point, 4-2 final, and that gets you under the current live total.
No, you're exactly right. This is what I was saying about the Oilers. They have their flaws. They're going to give up goals. They're going to spot you a 2-goal lead, but they know who they are, and they play to it, right? We're going to outscore you, and we're going to keep on coming at waves at you, and at the end of the night, we're going to have more goals than you will. And they don't change who they are. Like, I find the Toronto Maple Leafs, they get into the playoffs, McInnes, and they did this against Ottawa a bit, where they start to dump and chase more. And you're not built for it. Like, you're not going to win the one-on-one battles against the Florida Panthers. It's like an MMA striker trying to out-wrestle a wrestler. It's like, don't even try. Like, just, you know what I mean? It's not going to work. You're not going to, you're not going to outdo what they do best. So, if I'm the Leafs, you go around the Panthers, not through them, right? If I'm the Leafs, I don't want to play in 2-1 games, like you just talked about. You know, the Panthers, Paul Maurice wants to play in a 2-3-1 game. If I'm the Leafs, I want to play in a 5-3 game. I want to score goals, right? I want to make Florida score goals to beat us.
think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft, Mock 1 in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, we've had 2 epic games so far tonight. A 2-1 overtime win for the Carolina Hurricanes in the NHL and an epic comeback, just like yesterday with the Knicks and Celtics. 120 to 119, just wild stuff. Halliburton buries a 3 with 1.1 seconds remaining. Like, the Pacers were down all game. All right, so we got breaking news here right now. Steph Curry out. All right, so this is a game changer right now, and this total is getting, this is a low-scoring game right now. And speaking of correlation, all right, so here it is. I'm seeing Curry. Seemed pretty harmless. Seems like he just pulled something. But they said he's ruled out for the game. Like, you see, like, nothing happened. It's like a football player getting hurt on a non-contact. Like, he was just running up the court, and you could see him pull, like, the back of his hamstring type deal area. Back of his, his leg, his thigh, and then he was limping around, and now I'm being told that he's been ruled out of a 36-24 game right now. And speaking of correlation, the T-Wolves don't mind playing an ugly game. 185.5 is the in-game total right now. Dear God, 38-26 basketball game. And because of Curry being out right now, the T-Wolves are plus 105 on the money line only, despite the fact that they're down 12. Golden State minus 135 on the money line. So this is a dynamic change here, McInnes. Good thing you bet the Warriors in the first half and not the game.
Yeah, I had somebody message me and they're like, Steph Curry's out. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. But, you feel so ashamed how you just immediately think about your bets. You're like, too bad for him, but I only have the first half.
But you're up 10 right now. You're up 10. You're thinking, wow, they're up 10 with a couple of minutes left still.
But
see if they can hang on to this.
But Gabe, how everybody like around COVID, like COVID season, people were given like NCAA picks, like back the team with all the guys with COVID because of the point spread adjustments, right? Look at tonight, certain teams that people look at back in the banged up team. But you know what I'll say? In game, it's way harder because when you have a team that's coming in with injuries, the coaching staff gets a chance to game plan without those players being there and new guys stepping up. It's way different when a player leaves. Like, I actually wouldn't blame people for overreacting right now if they're jumping on it. I mean, I saw guys getting 150, 140, 130, and now I'm seeing at some spots Timberwolves are all the way up to minus 145. But at the end of the day, it is Steph Curry. And the fact is, he didn't get injured, yesterday at practice. He got injured today in the middle of the game. It's a big difference.
You're not going to jump the sports books with this, like an NBA playoff game with an injury. They're on top of it super fast. Where you can is in college football. And I'm a big college football junkie, so I'm watching like literally every game at once, like all day for 16 hours type of deal. And I'll play Dr. McInnes. Sometimes it backfires on me though, right? But like the books, it's impossible. Like this, there's one game on, and there's so much money on it. They're paying attention to it religiously here, every little second. They're monitoring everything. But dude, when you've got like 115 college football games going on, they don't know. Like, they can't tell right away. Like, if a quarterback goes down or something. So it's a gamble. Like, you see an injury and they go to a commercial break and you got to, like, sort of wait. Like, you got to say, all right, they haven't said whether he's in or out yet, but I don't think he's getting up from this. And then, boom, you can strike and you can sort of beat him to the punch with the injuries. In the old days, books would be soft with this, right? Like, you know what I mean? You'd have a couple of minutes or half an hour, you know what I mean? Like, sports books, it was a slower era, but we live in such a micro age now of, information being out there so fast. So like you said,
so what about the other way,
T-Wolves now down minus 160 right now. That's what they are in the money line, even though they're down 12.
I mean, now that it's reacted so much, I mean, what's that saying that everybody loves to say? You're betting numbers, not teams. So at the end of the day, did people miss the boat on the Wolves? Is the value now on the Warriors if you didn't get a good price on the Wolves? Because looking at it now, they're still up 10, and you're getting plus 120 on the team up 10, and you're getting a decent team total on the team that's still up 10. Curry matters. Curry is the guy. But at the end of the day, if you missed the minus 120 and now it's minus 175, are you the loser for getting the worst possible number, or is it still okay to bet?
It's a fair question. I think it's okay to bet because you can make the argument that you're getting a 7.5 home favorite right now at minus 1.5, right? And their best player is out on the other team, right? So, it's the combination of things here. And the thing is, we've seen McInnes over and over this year in the NBA playoffs. There's been comebacks. Right? In the regular season, man, it's kind of tap-out city, right? It's like, they're down by 20. It's over. And, the team, we got a game tomorrow night. We're going to move on. In the playoffs, these teams don't quit. And it shows, like, what the NBA actually could be in the regular season, too, I think, if they would just shorten the damn season. I think, you could get these efforts and stuff. Because the teams don't want to quit as much as they do, right? You see these guys want to compete, but in a regular season, it's just sort of the culture of the NBA. It's like, we're losing. We're playing 3 games in 4 days. So this is it. Just sit on the bench. And, you don't get these, like, big comebacks like you see here. But I get the feeling the T-Wolves will grind away, and find a way to come back and win this game. But I'm surprised about their defensive meltdowns. Like, they just gave Draymond Green an uncontested dunk. Naz Reid seems to be a little shaken up walking down the floor. And I don't know what the hell's going on, guys. Draymond Green's got 16 points right now already. And
I got one for you, Gabe.
That's like a month of games for Draymond Green. 16 points. What the hell?
Wolves minus 6.5 third quarter. How about that one? How about getting to go to the locker room?
Oh, that they come out angry in the third. Yeah.
You're betting a quarter. You're betting 1 quarter of the game. And you're not betting them to win because that still doesn't mean they're going to come back in the game. But, you're going to see what they're made of for 1 quarter of basketball. I think that'd be interesting to take a look at. It's 6.5 for a reason, right? I mean, looking at what the point spread was going into the game and now looking at this being a bet for 1 quarter in the third quarter, that might be one I'm interested in jumping on, actually. Minnesota minus 6.5 third quarter is a good one.
Andrew McInnes in the house with us. WagerTalk.com. I am Gabriel Morency, kicking it. SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. All right, McInnes, let's get into tomorrow's games. Toronto Maple Leafs. How do you feel about the Stolars situation? There's the NHL's stance on this was that they can't prove that Stolars got injured due to the contact from Bennett when he took a puck to the face previously to that as well, which is true. Like I think he was originally concussed to begin with. And then, we saw he was concussed. He didn't throw up because he had a bad chicken meal before the game. So he threw up. He was concussed, stays in the game. Then he gets hit by Bennett again after. What do you think? Should Bennett, and we should note, too, for people just wondering right now, Sam Bennett is known as being like one of the dirtiest players in the National Hockey League to begin with. So we're not dealing with a guy that, he's a super cool dude and stuff. People respect him, but as well as I do, the guy's a killer out there on the ice, McInnes. Should Bennett have been suspended, considering Stolar is going to be out for a while now?
I think it should be a game. But you know what, Gabe? I think the question should be, should there have been a penalty called on the ice, let alone a suspension?
Yes.
There wasn't even a penalty called on the ice. That's what's crazy.
Yes,
and I think
Chris Pronger had a good point. And he said if they just would have called a penalty on the ice, no one would be crying about this right now.
For sure. And you know what the problem is? People always complain about this in the NBA, NFL, whatever it is, Gabe. You know how the new thing that they have is referees. We're going to bring in our referee specialist to go over the call, and they always just back up the referee that made the call on the court, right? That's the problem. They're not going to go different than the actual referee. So I think that it should be 1-game suspension, but I do think that the mask getting hit caused him to throw up. I've seen guys play ball hockey with an orange ball and throw up after getting hit in the mask. That didn't help. He should have been pulled when that happened in the first place.
I think I still have welts from frozen orange balls getting hit in the leg with them as a kid. Those things suck.
Think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Is so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. So Joseph Woll is going to have to come in right now. He's got a 4-2 record in the playoffs with a 2.12 goals against average and .924 save percentage. Stolarz really wasn't wasn't really a starter between the two of them. Stolarz got hot late. He had the 11-game win streak, but I know it's cliche to say this, McInnes, but I'm like you. I'd like to see a little bit of a reaction from the Leafs, But at the same point in time, the Canadians used to often beat the Boston Bruins in the playoffs by basically just getting the Bruins running around, taking penalties, doing stupid things, and not retaliating. And getting, like, the best revenge is winning. And it's like, okay, you can take a cheap shot at someone and stuff, but if you're going to do it, make sure you get away with it. So I think the best way to do that is you can't get penalized for teeing up a slap shot from like 6 feet in front of the net, McInnes, at his head. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not a penalty, right? You know what I mean? It's not a penalty to recklessly fire a puck high a couple of times at Panther defensemen's heads either. Like, just let them know, okay, you know what? This goes both ways, guys. You know, this goes both ways. Like, you know, we could be a jerk too if I want. The Leafs, like, it'd be nice if someone would step up and just sort of have that jerk them in them. But you don't want to take a penalty, McInnes, to me, because you're not going to have, you know, they're not going to beat the Panthers in a fight. So beat them in the series, bro. And then cheap shot them on the way out, you know?
Well, and the thing is, too, is that I think any hockey fan watching the game yesterday knew after the second period or maybe 10 minutes left, I mean, that comeback almost happened. But even my buddies that were Leaf fans were saying to me, it's about to get real dirty. Like, if, you know, we're winning this game, it's about to get bad out there.
I thought Kachuk trying to kill Marner at the end of the game was worse than Bennett stuff by far.
Well, this is the thing, though, Gabe, is that game 2, when you're down 0-1 in a series, you can't do that stuff anymore. It's not like, okay, because you can accept, I'm going to go down 0-1 in a series, whatever. That's just one game.
Florida going to be a little handcuffed tomorrow. They can't get stupid, right? It's true.
You can't go down 2-0, right? You can't go down 2-0. So, but did you see the quote that what Paul Maurice said? You know, I don't care what anybody says. I love when the coaches get so into it with their quote. Like, he pretty much just said, you know what? I think there were about double-digit amount of hits, way worse than that play. But you guys aren't going to want to talk about those ones, are you? It's like, well, no, Paul, no other goalie's got elbowed in the head. I mean, that's what they're going to want to talk about. And then the guy said, are you surprised, Paul? You used to coach here in Toronto. And he goes, I'm not surprised, but, you know, I'm expecting it. But what does he mean there were worse hits than that yesterday? That's probably the worst one.
Yeah, you know what, though? That's the gamesmanship. We saw him and Cooper were really going back and forth in the last series, and they were murdering each other, those two teams. So what do you think of the game tomorrow? Panthers are minus 150 favorites. The Leafs are plus 125. The total's 5.5.
Yeah, so look, I had the over in the first game, leaned towards the Leafs as well. Those game ones have been so high scoring across the board. I ended up jumping on the pick'em price on the series on Florida. That was my game plan going in. Hope Toronto wins game 1. And if you think about it, correct me if I'm wrong here, Gabe, but a lot of times when road teams get the split when they go on the road in a playoff series, usually that game 2 is the one that they end up winning anyway. So I was like, okay, this price is ridiculous. We're seeing minus 180 for Panthers to win the series. I cheer for the Leafs in game 1, get the better series price, and I back the Florida Panthers in games 2. And I'll tell you what, it's not even like they got thumped. They scored 4 goals in regulation time, and honestly, their star players didn't play very well. Barkov looked off his game, Reinhart looked off his game, and they still managed to put 4 goals in. Albeit Woll came in cold and rusty. At the end of the day, I think this team's not going to lack any confidence whatsoever. They're going to have that edge in them, and the thing is about the Panthers, we were joking around about them being handcuffed. They play the best when they kind of have that anger. It's like Rocky Balboa needed to get beat up a little bit before he could wake up in the 8th round. I mean, this team, they like it. They're like, all right, cool, we're down 0-1. There's a controversy. Everybody hates Bennett. Everybody hates us. This is the game they're going to go out there and win. And so if they go back to Florida, their home ice, tied 1-1, that's a win for them. That's a W. So I know it's really a shame this series already has some controversy. We knew it was going to happen. So many dirty players out there, but a 1-1 series tie going back to Florida is a win for this team, Gabe. So I'm on the series for Florida now at a better price, and I'm on Florida tomorrow.
It is to get the split. And, you know, listen, it's not the end of the world for the Leafs either. You know what I mean? At least they're not going to leave home down, 2-0 either. And I think the Leafs are capable of stealing one in Florida. But if the Leafs are legitimately going to win this series, they win this game tomorrow, right? It's only going to get harder as it goes on. The Panthers, like you said, will get better as they get angry as the series goes on. The Leafs we see, oh, God, the Oilers just hit the post like on the first shot of the second period. the Oilers are coming on right now. Like they're going to score. I wouldn't be surprised if they score in the next couple of minutes. They literally just hit like the crossbar, like the first shot, like 10 seconds in, boom, and like they had them beat, but it freaking rattled off the crossbar. Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. Man, what an epic comeback for the Winnipeg Jets. If you're the Jets, I mean, you're almost going to start to think, listen, we're invincible. We're a team of destiny right now after that comeback. Morrissey and Scheifele are listed as game-time decisions for tomorrow. I don't think if I was Winnipeg, I'd announce it to the world either, like basically, right? So I'd wait until the last possible second to let people know. Dude, it looked like Scheifele was going to play on Sunday. So I'm going to assume that Scheifele is going to be back. I'm not sure about Morrissey tomorrow. The Stars are minus 125 road favorites. Who do you like in this series in game one here tomorrow?
Gabe, with all this talk about Hellebuck and his road and home splits, I don't think anybody gave Jordan Binnington enough credit for what he did in that series. I think he was really good. I like the over tomorrow. And I'll tell you what, I do think there's a shred of value on the series and on game one on the Winnipeg Jets. I really do. Coming in with confidence, coming in with that swag after pulling off a miracle, we can say here. But we can't count out the juggernaut Dallas. Mikko Rantanen revenge tour, 4 points in a period in game 7. You got to love that. But I'm going to keep things going with the first game of a series over the total. It's 5.5 lower totals in the playoffs. Sign me up for the over.
Connor Hellebuck, last 17 home games, 16-0-1 with a .942 save percentage, 134 goals against average.
Think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers could be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We got Andrew McKinnon for a couple of more minutes. Rick Saratella is going to step up, and we'll get into the NFL offensive Rookie of the Year odds, talk a little NFL futures. Win totals have been posted right now that we're post-draft. We got McKinnon in the house. But, McKinnon, I want to bring up so I will get your pick. Dallas, Winnipeg. What do you think is going to happen in this series?
I'm very comfortable saying that I think that we're going to see a very similar to storyline to what we saw in Winnipeg and St. Louis. I think all the home teams are going to do very, very well. Would not shock me in the slightest to see this series go 7 games. It's going to be either a crash and burn, run out of gas for Winnipeg, or the latter, which I'm really hoping is what we see, and it's riding the momentum wave. You get past that first round, and as you and I were saying at the break, Gabe, you got through that burst of you got through that first round. Now you get the momentum there. And I think Hellebuyck kind of, you know what, he had a rough goal he let in Game 7, but after that, he was an absolute animal. I think every home team wins in this series.
Oh, man, massive save right there by Hill. Edmonton just came so close to scoring. I thought they were going to score. It's a nice save by Hill. Damn.
You know what's scary, though? Am I a hater for saying this? Because I bet against Dallas. So let me know. But at the end of the day, can we both agree that Dallas really didn't play their best series? I mean, they were down 2-0 in Game 7. When they were up 2-1 in the series, they had the lead for 70 seconds in those 2 combined games. So they're up 2-1 in the series. They had the lead for 70 seconds. Game 7, they go down 2-0. Third period, they get 4 points from one player. We're supposed to believe there's some juggernaut Stanley Cup favorite. All they do is go down and find ways to win. I mean, I know that's how hockey is in the playoffs, so there's 2 ways of looking at it. We haven't even seen their best yet, or this is their best, and it's not very good. It's up to us to figure out, but Dallas honestly hasn't looked that great. Let's be real here. Mikko Rantanen impressed people, and I'm sounding biased because I was on Colorado, but Colorado flat out, straight up choked. They choked.
Andrew McKinnis laying it down on his Colorado Avalanche. He's a Habs fan, but he likes the Avs. He likes the Avs too. He can't. He's nodding. So listen, before we get you out of here, I talked about this last night about Connor Bedard declining the invitation from Team Canada to go to the World Championships, which I don't understand. I don't get it. You know what I mean? It's baffling to me. You seem depressed in Chicago. You get an opportunity to play competitive hockey with big time players. And not to mention, this is the last opportunity before the Olympics next year, right? There's no real camp, in the summertime. It's not like the Four Nations, so there's no real camp here for this. And this is your opportunity to try to impress Team Canada. We know the Team Canada holds a grudge. And Macklin Celebrini today, McKinnis scores a goal, 3 assists against Hungary in a tune-up game. They play Saturday in their first real game. You got Sidney Crosby. You've got, numerous players from the Four Nations face-off team went because they all want to be on the Olympic team. It's sort of a continuation. Crosby and McKinnon go. That really says something. They want Marc-Andre Fleury there for one last time with Sidney Crosby. You got Fantilli. That's the good news. The bad news is it's all the way up to plus 130 right now. McKinnis Canada were like plus 285 before, but now with Crosby and McKinnon, it's plus 130 right now.
And you got Travis Sanheim on the blue line, who was Four Nations, but he was the 7th defenseman. Mackenzie Weegar, and he wants to be on the Olympic team, Mackenzie Weegar, because he'll probably take the spot that Drew Doughty had potentially. Everybody's trying out. These guys are trying out. So it's very weird to see with Bedard. I mean, he better have some very important
from the
plans.
Canadiens, McKinnis confirmed today, just for the record. I saw.
Matheson.
He's on his way there right now.
I look forward to seeing how many shin pads he shoots into on the power play if he gets a chance to. You know what? Suzuki, I hope Suzuki goes because you know what? Me and you talked about this. Hockey Canada didn't like him last year.
He's not going again.
He's waiting to get confirmation from Montreal. He's waiting to get confirmation from Montreal.
What, for permission? Really?
To get cleared to the medical staff because he was banged up before the playoffs and in the playoffs, but obviously he wanted to keep playing to will them into the playoffs. He said, if Montreal gives me permission, I will go, even though I'm battling injuries. So last year he got engaged. That was his excuse. He had plans to get engaged. This year is no excuses.
Well, you better get on a plane fast because they're playing Saturday. So if he's going to go, I like them. Listen, it's in Sweden. But Canada's basically rolling out their A-team here, which is rare for a World Championships, right? Like, this could be arguably the best World Championship team Canada's ever assembled. Thanks, McKinnis.
that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers could be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The Twisted Tuesday. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, the Rick Saratellas, and everybody else in between. Rick Saratella is already hard at work on the 2026 NFL Draft Bible. AllAccessFootball.com in the house. Rick, it's always a pleasure. I always get excited and fired up to talk football with you. Let's do this thing. How you doing tonight?
Oh, baby. It's my favorite time of the week, Gabriel Morency, talking football with you. What else better is there to do?
Well, I appreciate that because you do a lot of great hits throughout the week with some very, very good people, including Brian Baldinger, who I enjoy the hits and his work as well. But as far as the draft is concerned, next year's in Pittsburgh, so we know that's going to be hardcore. But we've got an East Coast one coming up in a couple of years. What do you think of the Washington Mall of America announcement, in which they're hoping to get over 1 million people?
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. I saw that press conference, by the way. They reiterated that, didn't they? They repeated that sentence. We expect 1 million people, right? So Detroit right now had 800,000. They're the number one on the pecking order. Hey, Green Bay, I think they're the 139th ranked market in the United States. And they did very well. 600,000 people came out for the festivities. And aside from the COVID-19 year, this was the most watched NFL draft of all time. So it's just a spectacle that keeps growing and growing and growing. And who would have thunk it? You had to move out of New York City to grow this event. And I was definitely not a proponent of it at first, but it has been fruitful.
That really is amazing, isn't it? To think back to like Radio City Music Hall. And to now, in which you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people, potentially millions of people. One thing about the draft, and I've said this, and people in Green Bay, they partied hard through it, even though it was raining and the weather wasn't great. But the Super Bowl is expensive. The draft is free. You know what I mean? Just point blank. Like, it's like a gathering. Remember, when you were at the Grey Cup, you saw it's kind of a gathering of fans, like in the CFL. Even if your team didn't make it to the Grey Cup, you saw people were all wearing their jerseys. It's like, no, I come no matter who's playing. The draft is sort of like that. Like, you know what I mean? Pockets of fans from each team show up and basically just drink for a couple of days and scream.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And you have all the mascot, like all the crazy fans, license plate guy, Eagles,
the super fans all show up and stuff. Yeah.
So it definitely is a.
Fans of every team aren't going to the city of the Super Bowl when the Super Bowl is being played, right? They'll go to Vegas, right? They'll go to Atlantic City. They'll go to a sports book, but they're not going to the city to party because it's expensive. So the draft brings a different dynamic. There's a lot of excitement about this Washington football team right now called the Commanders. I didn't even mean to call them the Washington football team. That was just like a lot of excitement about this Washington football team right now. Called the Commanders now, but they got the draft. They got the new stadium coming right now. They really came on. They made it to the conference championship game. We've seen this in the past, Rick, where, these upstart teams come on and people think they're going to win. They're going to take the league over. The Cincinnati Bengals with Burrow. Remember, it was this time last year, people, oh, man, the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud was unbelievable. What are they going to do now this year? Are you buying in that Washington continues this trajectory and remains one of the teams to beat to knock off the Philadelphia Eagles potentially?
I'll tell you, man, I'm drinking that burgundy Kool-Aid, Gabe. I mean, I'm a big advocate of.
You're rolling with the hogs in the mud.
I am, man. I am. Give me some of that hog.
Old school.
Yeah, I love me some hogs, some hog mollies. Listen, this team is built. You talk about a young quarterback on his rookie contract in Jaden Daniels. It allows them to go out and sign and obtain guys like Laramie Tunsil. They double down with Josh Connerly in the draft. They bring in Deebo Samuel with Scary Terry McLaurin. I mean, this team is just Dan Quinn defense. I think the two best teams in the NFC are in the East. The Eagles and the Commanders, I think, are going to be duking it out.
Are they, what about the Philadelphia Eagles? It's always tough to sustain it, isn't it? Once you win, it's harder to win again after, right? It's tough. Players start to drift. Players want to get paid. Attitude starts to kick in. We saw that the last time the Philadelphia Eagles won, and they admitted it, right? Remember they said it was like 2 years after, and guys in the room, they're like, man, I don't even recognize guys anymore in this room.
That's right.
Like, people are completely different. Everybody's changed. And they knew that, and they reshuffled the deck, and they cleaned house in the room, and they brought in new guys. I don't get the sense that Jalen Hurts is a letdown guy. I don't get the sense that Saquon Barkley is a letdown guy right now. I mean, I think A.J. Brown's already on to next year, so I wouldn't really expect the Eagles to let down due to their success. Do you?
No, I don't think so. They've been hurt by retirements a little bit the last couple years. Fletcher Cox. This year they had Brendan Graham. They lost Milton Williams in free agency, but Howie Roseman has done a great job reloading with this roster. I mean, they've had the best offensive line for like the past decade. They got Brown and Devonta Smith, 2,000-yard receivers with Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, and a hell of a defense with Vic Fangio running it. So what's not to like? I think the Eagles and the Commanders and probably the Rams and the Lions are the four teams to beat in the NFC.
Yeah, about the Lions, how do you think they lost like almost pretty much their entire coaching staff, like for the most part, right? Yeah. That's the down, the downside of being so good and being successful, but they still have a damn good roster. A lot of people think like, Ben Johnson's not there anymore. But I still think that offense will be able to hum no matter who's calling the plays.
It's funny, and I wish I could credit the person. I don't remember who put it out there, but they said, the Lions are Matthew Stafford away from winning the Super Bowl. It's like,
you're saying Goff is like what he was with the Rams now, that they need to trade back again to get over the top.
It's so true, though, because like Goff just has this ceiling, and he's a very good quarterback, but that's where he peaks. He's very good. He's not great. And, listen, I don't know if Detroit has it in them. I just, these teams that are on the come up, I like Philadelphia. I like Washington. I like the Rams. And then I like the Lions are right there, though. They got a lot of grit, And then the AFC, I like the Chargers on the come up, man. I think, Chargers and Commanders are my Super Bowl exacta box for anybody out there who wonders.
Wow. That's a bold pick. Rick Saratello don't play around. He doesn't follow. Rick's not a sheep. Rick's a leader out there. Commanders and Chargers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just like how they're built. The Chargers from the inside out, they built in the trenches. They got a hell of a good quarterback. Lad McConkey's a great weapon, but more importantly now, they have two competent running backs. You know, Harbaugh was trying to find a running back. Now he's got two of them, Hampton and Najee Harris, with a hell of a good defense. I like what the Chargers are all about, man. You saw a little bit something of this coming in the playoffs a year ago. I think this team's ready to take the next step.
So looking at the numbers, the Washington Commanders are 18-1 to win the Super Bowl. The LA Chargers 25-1, and in fact, I would the Chargers, due to their lack of success, they're getting quite a lot of respect. Actually, like they're not too low on the board. Like your pick isn't like the biggest long shot in the world per se.
Now, if you put in a Super Bowl exacta box, Chargers over.
We'll get you the number. We'll put this together for you.
200-1.
Yeah, 200-1, eh? So Washington Commanders versus the LA Chargers in the Super Bowl. Yeah, no one. I swear to God, I think you're going to be the only one with this pick. Like it's out there. I don't think so much with the Commanders. I think the Commanders will be a trendy pick this year, but the Chargers, for the record, odds I'm looking at right now: Philadelphia Eagles +6.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. There's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers. It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started. And it's like +700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum in the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done.
The Twisted Tuesday continues. I am Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. We're talking football with Rick Saratella, NFL Draft Bible, and allaccessfootball.com. Rick, life comes at us all pretty fast, and we really can't predict the future. But I got to tell you, I never would have predicted that Justin Tucker's career is kind of ending the way that it is right now, unless someone else picks him up. But I really don't see teams running to pick him up considering all the controversy around him and the fact that he's not the same player that he used to be. And I can't get over the fact that Bill Belichick's life is being run by a 23-year-old girl. I can't comprehend thinking back to the Belichick coaching the Patriots with the hoodie on in the bad weather, and now the chaos behind the scenes at North Carolina's football program. Like they might as well have hired Jake Paul to be their coach. Like, can you imagine North Carolina? Never in a million years did they, you know what I mean? Or like the Tate brothers or something like, well, we don't want anyone controversial. It's the Bible Belt. Not in a million years did they ever imagine like this. They probably thought, listen, Belichick might be a jerk with the media. Will he have a hard time recruiting? But let's see how this works out. I don't think they ever thought in a million years that a 23-year-old girl would be his manager and calling the shots.
Yeah, Jordan is her name, and she's dunking on fools. I mean,
there's a new Jordan at Chapel Hill.
It's unbelievable, right? Somebody decided we're going to pay Bill Belichick, and Billy Ball said, we're going to throw a retirement party. I mean, this guy's on cloud nine. He's taking the money from Chapel Hill. He's got his Belichick Productions. Jordan is apparently the CEO.
Well, that's the thing I want to say about the Hard Knocks stuff. They were going to do a college edition of Hard Knocks because NFL teams don't want to do it. And it was great. Belichick was into it and stuff. And it turns out it got blown up because of her. Basically, the network said, yeah, we can't deal with this. Like, we're just tired of the demands. And it wasn't him. It was her.
Well, yeah, she wanted executive producer credit. They told her take a hike. And we'll see you later. And then she bullies her way into the Dunkin' Donuts commercial. I don't know if you saw that one.
I heard about that story. She demanded she was in the ad in a TV commercial with him.
Yeah, and it's a very short, brief moment, but she made sure that she was in that commercial. And then, you get the story that before Billy Boy, she dated this 66-year-old CEO, and he comes out and says, well, she's really not a gold digger. Like, okay.
Yeah, I don't get into it too much. I'll keep it from the football, like just from the perspective. But I saw a story about how suddenly she's bought $9 million worth of property in the last couple of months, Rick. Where's this money coming from? Like, I think Bill's kids are going to start to this is like some Casey Kasem stuff going on. Like Casey's frozen, and he's in Arizona and ice. Well, the new wife came in and boxed the family out, Rick, and took all the money. Like, this thing could end weird, bro.
There is going to be a Netflix movie in 5 years. Yes. Right? It's just weird. It's bizarre. It's I think the best.
Do you think it'll work? Do you think it'll work on the football field? Do you think he's going to succeed, or it's going to blow up this year?
I don't think so, Gabe. He went in heavy now on the recruiting trails. Like, he's been in the mix for some hot, heated transfer portal guys. He struck out almost on every attempt. Like, he hasn't been able to reel in the big fish. Nico being the biggest one of them all. But, I mean, he's lost out on these recruiting battles. And I don't see a lot of talent on this North Carolina program. I think it's more of a PR play at this point.
Rick Saratella in the house with us. Rick, I wanted to talk about a couple of players that we didn't get a chance to get to it last week that were undrafted, some of the undrafted free agents. And a player that you and I talked a lot about was Donovan Edwards over the years with the Michigan Wolverines. Yeah. His stock obviously dropped a lot. I mean, he went from the cover of EA Sports to being undrafted, but I like what the New York Jets did, and I also like what they did with Brady Cook. Talk to me about Cook, actually, a little bit, too. Quarterback out of Missouri who he was injured, but I think people are a little bit too critical of this kid, and they were too critical of his boy Luther Burton as well.
Yeah, the Missouri offense struggled this past year. They took a step back. Burton saw a lot fewer targets this year, and I had a chance to scout Brady Cook at the Hula Bowl, where he did very well for himself. Clearly, he was the best signal caller down there. He earned himself a call-up to the East-West Shrine Bowl. I thought when he got to the next level at the Shrine Bowl, a step up in competition, he struggled a little bit. I think he needs to speed up his processing a little bit more, but you're talking about a gamer who's faced live bullets, SEC battle tested. I've watched Brady Cook bring back that Missouri Tigers team in those fourth quarter comebacks. So he's just he's a game time performer. You know, I really like that young man. And then Donovan Edwards, like, I don't know what the deal was this past year. We talked about it on this show. He just wasn't hitting that hole hard enough with the emphasis like years past. Maybe he had an injury, but I'll tell you what, one of the underrated elements of his game is his ability to catch the ball. And he could line up in the slot. He could be a slot receiver. He could be a weapon as a pass catcher out of the backfield. So I think he's going to give the Jets some depth in the backfield as a change of pace kind of back.
I get the feeling he's the type of dude that could be better in the NFL than he was in college somehow too. Like he can help a team, right? Like, you know, if he knows his role, I think he can help a team.
What he needs is a guy like Deuce Staley or Eric Bieniemy to be on his ass and light a fire. That's what he needs.
Yeah, you know, Michigan tried, and you know that's almost a concern too. Like if you're a running back and they can't get you going there, well, you know what I mean? You got a problem. Which leads me into Justice Haynes, the transfer from Alabama. Michigan spent a lot of money on him, and Michigan don't have, you know this, they don't have any standout wide receivers. This is going to be a run-heavy offense once again, and this kid's going to get an opportunity to shine. Look at Edwards, got a chance to put up numbers. Mullings put up numbers. Blake Corum, now in the National Football League, put up big numbers, and I think he's a better athlete than all of them.
Yeah, we're going to get back to those Blake Corum days where we run left, run right, run up the middle with this.
Haynes is going to get like 3 touchdowns a game.
Oh, dude. And he's such a joy to watch because he has this
very Jahmyr Gibbs-like, huh? All right, we'll hit this and more on the other side with Rick Saratella. We're up against it. This is Sports Rage.
Think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Is so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum in the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft, Mach 1 in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The Twisted Tuesday continues. Got a couple of more minutes with Rick Saratella talking football. We'll get to the Rookie of the Year odds and get Rick's take on that. But speaking of Justice Haynes, like I said, I'm not going to compare. I'm not going to say he's Jahmyr Gibbs, but he has a lot of the same traits and very explosive for a young player. Like this kid really could be a superstar.
Oh yeah, no, he's a pleasure to watch. He's got this hesitation about him, Gabe, which I was going to say before the commercial break, where he can start stop and start on a dime, and then he's just gone. And his change of direction, his ability to make defenders miss in the open field, he's got breakaway speed. He can break tackles. He's got a compact frame. Like, there's a lot to like. And believe it or not, we're getting a little bit old. I remember his father coming out. He's a Georgia kid now, 5-star out of Georgia. But his father was a 5th-round pick, Veron Haynes, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you remember, was a pretty good back in the day. So his son now, Justice Haynes, is a brick house. I like this.
Family pedigree. Love it. Rick Saratella kicking it with us. All right, Rick. Offensive Rookie of the Year odds. Ashton Genty is the co-favorite along with Cameron Ward. They're both at plus 275. So Genty plus 275, Ward plus 275. Travis Hunter plus 750. T-Mac, McMillan, Arizona got drafted by the Carolina Panthers. He's 10-1. Hampton with the Chargers, North Carolina running back, is 14-1. Judkins is 16-1. Tyler Shock is 16-1. Travion Henderson. I'm looking at Warren. Warren 28-1. And how the hell did Warren fall as far as he did?
Man,
we didn't talk. Man, what's up with that? Like, they got a steal, bro. Like, they were ecstatic. Remember, like, we talked about the it wasn't even an afternoon strip club clap. The Cleveland Browns almost looked angry with shit. It was like, oh God, all right. Like, but the Colts were generally like, we can't believe this, that we got Warren. Like, they couldn't believe it.
Dream scenario, and to get my number 3 overall player on the board at 14, tremendous value. I asked about his Rookie of the Year odds just for his red zone mismatch touchdown capability. I mean, Tyler Warren can have 8 to 10 touchdowns this year without a doubt. He's that kind of weapon. Now, Rookie of the Year, I like Ashton Genty just because he's going to get fed. You know, Pete Carroll's going to lean on him. I could see him getting 300 touches, 350 touches, dare I say. Cam Ward is going to struggle. Not a lot of weapons. You have an offensive line that hasn't really worked with each other. So it's going to be tough sledding out of the gates for Cam Ward. I can see double-digit interceptions, 12 to 15 interceptions for Cam Ward. Ashton Genty is probably the safest play there. McMillan probably is the biggest boom or bust risk-reward, I would say.
What do you think about the defensive side of the football? Abdul Carter is plus 250. Jalen Walker is plus 750. Mikael Williams is 9-1. Travis Hunter is 9-1. Mason Graham is 12-1. Mike Green, the kid out of Marshall, is 12-1. Kind of flew under the radar. Right? It's not, he didn't play at a big time school, so people didn't talk about him much. But Shamar Stewart is 14-1. Jahad Campbell is 16-1. What do you think about the defensive? James Pierce is 20-1. What do you think about the defensive side of the football?
I think it could be somebody that you're not really thinking about, like a
Malachi Starks,
20-1.
Starks.
Yeah, you mean like him playing next to Kyle Hamilton, chess piece, mix and match, maybe create some turnovers. Walter Nolan is a guy I think he could, like Brandon Fisk came in and brought that 3-technique interior pass rush presence. I could see Walter Nolan maybe
20-1. Nolan, he's 20-1.
Yeah, I could see somebody that you're not really thinking about that's going to come and just creep up on you like a gangbuster. Yeah.
Rick is saying that he's drinking the burgundy Kool-Aid with the Commanders this year and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I'm not giving a Super Bowl exacta yet, but I'm buying in. And you know what? I don't think I could say, I could live to regret this, but the win total is so low. It's 7.5 for the Atlanta Falcons. I like Michael Penix. I think Drake London's really ready to take the next step and become like a big-time star. Cousins struggled last year. I think Penix can get it going. You got Bijan Robinson. You bring in Xavier Watts. You bring in Birch. You bring in James Pierce right now. Come on. How do the Falcons not win 8 or more football games, Rick? You got 15 seconds to agree with me.
Yeah, Terry Fontenot is one of the most underrated GMs. Back-to-back strong drafts. They added cornerstone players. It's between the Falcons and Bucs in that NFC South.
It really is. They're gonna push them. I think Carolina's gonna be better. Always awesome stuff with Rick Saratella. This is SportsRage.
think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers could be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Thanks to Rick Saratella for joining us. Well, I want to talk a little more football right now. We got our boy Mo Khan stepping up and in, but what a pitiful performance tonight. Pathetic performance by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Game 1, hosting the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry leaves the game. You've been flat all day. You can't get anything going offensively. Defensively, you're not playing well either. You kind of hang your hat on defense. You're getting burnt by, you know what I mean, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler's hitting these miracle threes. And you're down by 20. They went on a little 15-8 run. And it looked like they were going to get back into it. They cut it to about 12-13 or whatever. And we've seen a lot of comebacks in the NBA in the playoffs. So you sort of assumed, all right, Minnesota will go on a run. But they're not like some sort of offensive fire, you know what I mean, like firepower team that can rack up like a bunch of points fast. Right? They got to grind away and play defense, transition. Edwards is cold tonight. I took a prop, Edwards over 17.5 in-game. He had 3 points, I think at the half or whatever. I think, what is he up to now? Let me see. Because I jumped in. He was at 10 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. I don't know. I think they've only scored 2 or 3 points since then, actually. So I don't know how many more points he has. But hopefully you figure he goes on a little bit of a run here. And Edwards just starts taking it to the rack to try to get him back into this basketball game. And I don't think they'll quit considering they're on their home court in game 1 here. They just hit a 3. Let's bring in Mo Khan right now, our Mo Khan. And for the record, there's controversy out there on the internet with a dude named Mo Khan, but it's not our Mo Khan, and they spell their name differently. Mo Khan in the house. What's going on, Mo? How you doing tonight?
Better than the T-Wolves, better than the Capitals, and better than the Cavaliers tonight, Gabe. So it's been one of those type of nights. I thought it'd be a great night of sports, but so far we've had 1 out of the 4 games that I was looking forward to tonight that had a big impact with the Cavaliers and Pacers going down to the last shot as it was tonight.
Well, the Capitals and Canes goes to overtime. I thought that was a good game.
It was boring, though.
It was a very.
It was okay.
It was a one-sided. It was a one-sided game. Yeah, it's Carolina and Washington. You know what I mean? It's one of those deals where they have good records, Mo, but no one really cares about Carolina and Washington. You know what I'm saying? Even though I thought it was good hockey. But it's Carolina and Washington. So it doesn't have that, people are like, oh, Vegas and Edmonton. Oh, yeah, that's going to be good. The Leafs and Panthers, right? People get fired up for stuff. the Washington, Carolina, like, you know, it doesn't resonate with people for whatever reason. In the same way. All right, so we got an 80-60 game right now after 3 quarters of play. I think it'd be it'd be a miracle if they came back 20 now, going into the fourth quarter. So it's 80-60. In-game total is 191.5. The point spread is 12.5. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers spotted Vegas a quick 2-0 lead in the first period of play and have completely dominated since. But hockey can be strange, Mo, where you can dominate and not win. We kind of saw with the Canadians. I don't think the Canadians dominated the Capitals, but there were large stretches of the game often and full periods where the Canadians were the better team, but Logan Thompson made saves, and the Capitals bury the few chances that they get. They're good, you know, at scoring with limited shots on goal, this team. You know, the odds makers had Carolina as big favorites coming into this, so I think they sort of saw the same thing with Washington. But Edmonton and Vegas, I think the Oilers can come back tonight. I think the Oilers are going to win this series. Mo, what's your pick for the Oilers in the Vegas Golden Knights series?
I had Vegas winning in 6, Gabe. I just think that they had a rudderless first round against Minnesota, and they kind of got their legs back in play when they went up 3-2 in the series against the Wild. I just think that for Vegas, a big part, they had better depth to work with. I think Mark Stone's been playing some great hockey of late. And also, you look at the goaltending, right? I think Aiden Hill as a goalie compared to what Edmonton has right now in their tandem is a lot more stable with less questions. Now, can he steal a game if it's 1-1 going back to Edmonton for 3 and 4 and get it back to Vegas at 2-2? I just think that right now for what the Knights have as we speak, less question marks. And I think for the Oilers, do they have enough gas in the tank to go through another grind series given how many injuries they've suffered in the last, as we know, the few months of the season, that they're not fully healthy coming to this point of the playoff format that they're in right now, going towards this series?
Listen, I like the Pacers coming into the playoffs, Mo. I thought they were a dangerous sleeper. What people were talking, you know what I mean, about, okay, you had Boston and you had Cleveland, and people just sort of assumed that they're on a collision course. People have sort of placed Oklahoma City into the finals. So we were talking about teams with bigger odds, and people like, you know, the Knicks came up and they were in the 10-1 range. And then you had the Pacers in like the 14-1 range. But I like the Pacers because they can score on anybody, right? And they play as a team. They play hard. They're not a perfect team. They're not great on defense, but they do like each other. They have a good chemistry. They share the ball, and they don't give up on games. Like, they will just keep firing and chipping away. So I like this Pacer team. And the Cavaliers are in real trouble right now because the Pacers, like, have veterans. It's not like they're a bunch of kids. So I'm not sure. It's going to be hard to beat them right now that they just stole the 2 games. But what about the Knicks? Is this a sign of concern for the Celtics, or is this just status quo for the Celtics that, whatever, they didn't hit their 3-point shots and they usually lose 1 game in a playoff series? Or do you think the Knicks can beat them?
No, Knicks not going to beat them. There's no way they can win 3 more out of the next 6 games left in the series game. I think the way it played out yesterday with Boston, and it was an early sign when White was missing those 3s in the first quarter, right? Like, I'm like, oof, he's off his mark today. And as you said before, 44 missed triples. That's unheard of, especially for a team like Boston. I think for the Celtics, they just kind of got a little bit lulled into this matchup in the 3rd and 4th quarter, where it became a physical contest. It became key shot making, where it became loose offensive possessions for the Celtics that did not result in points for them, and turnovers going in favor for the Knicks that resulted in points for them. There was a swing game, I think, where it was a 6 or 7 point swing in favor of the Knicks, where the Celtics missed 2 or 3 shots in a row and could hit them. And I just think at this point now, going towards game 2, I think adjustments will be key, but also the key for the Knicks, though, Gabe, is that they lack the depth on their bench play that can match up to Boston's bench play. And for Tom Thibodeau, you know and I know, and being a Bulls fan that I am, Tibbs will run Jalen Brunson and his core 5 to the ground, because he probably realizes that in this series, I need my best to win this against the Boston Celtics in this best out of 7.
It's going to be a fun series. Right, it's going to be a fun series, but everything went right for the Knicks and everything went wrong for the Celtics, and it was still a 1-point game or whatever, right? So, you know, I mean, that is one way of looking at it as well. But we've got a series on our heads. This thing is, you know what I mean? The Knicks have another couple of wins in them. So can they get this thing to 6 or 7? And if they get it to 7, anything can happen. You know, we'll see how this plays out. But I've always got the feeling that they weren't going to get back to the finals, Boston, that they were going to stumble along the way. We'll see about Cleveland's health situation right now, right? I mean, of course, tonight they didn't have Mobley, they didn't have Hunter, they didn't have Garland. And it could have won the game. Mitchell dropped 48 on them, and they still fall short. So I jumped in on Anthony Edwards at 10 points. He's still at 10 right now. What a terrible performance, Mo, for Anthony Edwards tonight, who they like to push as the face of the league, the new face of the league often. And yeah, he has big games at times, but he's not a consistent superstar, as we see tonight. 4 of 15 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, and simply 10 points scored tonight. That's unacceptable.
It's unacceptable, and they got out of the blocks really slow tonight. You just felt like that the T-Wolves were not fully focused in this game here. And when Draymond's hitting his shots in the first half, as he was, that's a problem, right? Especially with Steph going down with his hamstring injury. And you saw at halftime what TNT said, look, rest Steph, go with what you have right now, and kind of win with what's going forward. And Steve Kerr, gave to his credit, has really rotated his bench options. He's gone, I think, 10, 11 deep in the first half against the T-Wolves. And I just think now for Minnesota going towards game 2 is what adjustments will you do? Can you attack the paint with what you have from a size standpoint and use that to your advantage? Because they do have better length and better size to work with. I just think that this game 1, the crowd was very quiet. This is a quiet effort by Minnesota.
Let's roll. More on the other side with Mo Khan. This is SportsRage.
Something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers. It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum in the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
I want to get into some football with Mo, but so tomorrow the Celtics are 10.5-point favorites over the Knicks. Total 211. Our boy Paul Bovey will be with us after the game. Denver Nuggets get 11 against Oklahoma City. Not getting a lot of respect, this Denver team. Total 229.5. And the Pacers are actually 2-point home underdogs against the Cavaliers on Friday night in an advanced line, but So what do you expect tomorrow? To Boston to bounce back? And what do you think about game 2 with Denver and Oklahoma City, Mo?
I agree. I think Boston does bounce back. I think they'll be much more mature than what they were in the second half. I think Missoula will get these guys much more focused and have a better start to the first half of what it was. They did have a great start, but it wasn't a convincing effort. I think for Denver, here's the thing for OKC, Gabe. They had a relatively easy first round against Memphis. Not much of a pushback from the Grizzlies. Now you're getting the Nuggets, who probably have the best player in the world in Jokic, who was far dominant and superior in that matchup. My only concern for the Nuggets is their lack of bench play. And you look at the Thunder right now, as young as they are and as great as they've been the last couple of years, this is now a mature moment for them. How will they react in game 2? Can they come out with an ace or two and, again, kill off the Nuggets and not keep them hanging around as they did in that second half last night?
All right, looking at the National Football League, we'll get most initial early picks here for the offensive and defensive rookie of the years in the National Football League. But here's an interesting list of props that are posted. Who will be the starting quarterback for these respective teams? Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco is the favorite at -120. Kenny Pickett, +300. Shedeur Sanders, +400. Dylan Gabriel, 9-1. Deshaun Watson, 30-1. You know, Mo, listen, I think that Joe Flacco will be the starting quarterback in week 1. Oh, and there it is. The Edmonton Oilers have just tied it 1 minute in. 1 minute into the period. 58 seconds to be exact. 19:02 mark. There it is. I don't know. They all got beards. I think it might be Brown, though. Was it Brown? No? Was it Draisaitl?
One of those guys.
The Oiler players, Mo, they got a lot of dudes that look the same. They have a lot of, like, red beard guys on their team. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of dudes that look the same. I know it was Draisaitl swinging. Great hand-eye coordination by Draisaitl. Aiden Hill couldn't glove a puck. It was bouncing around, and Draisaitl sort of swung it out of the air from, like, the side of the net. Great, like, in one motion, too. It was like a lot of guys wouldn't be able to pull that off, but there it is right there. Draisaitl with the game-tying goal. They were down 2-0. Here we go. We got a 2-2 game. All right, Mo, so listen, the fact that they have Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback says everything you need to know here. Yeah. Nothing against Flacco, but the guy's 41, whatever the hell it is. He's an emergency type of quarterback. He's not a let's start our season type of quarterback guy, but it is what it is. Short of injury, I guess he will be the starting quarterback. What's your quick take? So I'll get to the other teams here. But what do you think is the starting quarterback week 1 in Cleveland?
I think Flacco will be week 1 starting quarterback. I think the Browns will trade someone at some point during training camp, right, Gabe? You know, and I know, and all your NFL fans know, some quarterback will get hurt during camp or early in the season. So those 4 quarterbacks that you listed, one will not be on that roster come week 1 in early September.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be, I don't know, did they draft Dylan Gabriel just to cut him? Yeah, with a 4th-round pick, which is just insanity, but they are the Browns. Or not to cut him, but they could trade. I don't know, we'll see. All right, the Colts. I don't want to waste too much time talking about the Browns. The Colts. Anthony Richardson's the favorite at -275. Daniel Jones is +220. Riley Leonard's 33-1. So it's not going to be Riley Leonard, short of mass injury here. But I'm not so sure that Daniel Jones doesn't beat Richardson out. You know they'd like for Richardson to win this job, but I'm not sure he'll be able to beat Daniel Jones out for the job. Daniel Jones is a good practice quarterback, Mo. You played football. You know what I mean? There's guys and quarterbacks that are good in practice, but they're not good in games. That's Daniel Jones. Like, Jones will impress them in practice and in camp, and you know what I mean? And then once the bullets start flying, it'll be like, son of a bitch, for a guy that's so smart from Duke. He does a lot of weird things. But I think he's got a puncher's chance to be the starter at +220. What's your call for the Indy?
Yeah, I agree. I think Daniel has a great chance to be starting quarterback. I think for Anthony Richardson right now, he's only 22 years old, Gabe, right? His litmus test as a
with limited college games, too. It's not like the kid played 4 years and 50 games, you know?
Exactly, right? He needs time to play. He needs reps, right? I think he'll get that in camp, but I think right now, if the Colts are all in to win, and remember, you look at this staff right now with Chris Ballard as a GM, he has to win because he has to get this quarterback position right, which he's not done so. And if he fails on Anthony Richardson, he's done. And Irsay might just clean house altogether because of what he thought was going to be a new regime, new look. And right now it's not been to that so far with AR as a quarterback for this Colts team.
No, he's been a disaster. Let's call it out for what it is. I know, listen, your Raiders wasted a lot of picks over the years, right? From the Mayock era and guys that didn't make the team to getting arrested to kicked off to whatever to different things. There were a lot of wasted draft picks. But the Colts, Mo, they didn't have any starters from last year's draft. Like, they literally, they cut the guys from their 4th to 7th didn't make the team. They were like the first team ever, basically. That they weren't even on the damn team. And they just wasted picks, but I don't know how the hell me and Rick Saratella just talked about. I don't know how Tyler Warren fell all the way to them with a 14 pick, but we'll see how it plays out. But I think Daniel Jones at plus 220 is not a crazy bet. As far as Rookie of the Year is concerned, Cam Ward and Ashton Genty are co-favorites. Listen, I think Cam Ward's going to struggle with Tennessee. There's going to be a problem for him there. Do you think Ashton Genty is going to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year in the National Football League?
I think he has a very good chance to win it, Gabe. I think with the way the Raiders are structuring themselves and how they want to be a run-first team and have Geno throw the ball 20, 25 times, I think he's going to get the rock at least 25 times. I think for Ashton Genty, for what he brings from a fantasy football perspective, he can catch the ball very well out of the backfield. I think he'll be that Swiss Army knife for the Raiders. I think for Cam Ward, you're right about the fact that he might struggle at first because that O-line's still questionable. Playmakers are still lacking with Tennessee as we go into training camp. So I think Ashton will be the guy to watch out for as being the favorite to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Cameron Ward plus 275, Genty plus 275, Travis Hunter plus 750, McMillan with the Panthers 10-1, Hampton. Listen, I like Hampton a lot. I think he's getting a lot of touches with the Chargers too, but they also signed Najee Harris. More with Mo Khan on either side.
Think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, I want to get to the best of X, but the Winnipeg Jets, that epic comeback the other night, and there's been so much talk about Connor Hellebuck, but listen, Mo, it would be hard to do, but technically the Jets could lose every road game that they play in the playoffs and win the Stanley Cup. They have home ice in every series that they play in. And Connor Hellebuck, for his road woes, and it's been bad, for his road woes, he's also 16-0-1 in his last 17 home games, right? So Like, it's just this. I don't know if I've ever seen a home road split in any sport like this, like a run like this that he's going through. But with that being stated, I like the confidence that he showed in overtime. I saw the story that he told the players in the room, trust me, they won't score. Like, you know what I mean? He had a little swagger in the room, and the Jets were like, oh, he's back. He's back now. He's back. And I think you're going to see he's back. I think they're going to carry this over tomorrow. Who do you like in game one tomorrow, the Jets or the Stars?
I'm going to take the emotional pull of the Jets right now. I mean, they were terrible in games 5, 6, and in part mostly for 7 until the third period of that epic comeback. But I think if Hellebuck plays like he did in that third period and is locked in, it will be very hard. Even with Rantanen doing what he did in the third period against Colorado and going off like gangbusters out here, I think the Jets just have a little more to work with. And also from the injury perspective too, some lesser questions about Winnipeg's health situation than the Dallas Stars come into the series. So I think the Jets win game 1 tomorrow night.
All right, let's go to the best of X. We got a couple of posts that I want to share today. Let's roll it. Let's start off with this Bieber and Timothy Chalamet. Very popular actor right now. This kid seems to be everywhere, and Bieber's in the news because his life is falling apart. But here's, BetMGM said Timothy Chalamet and Justin Bieber both declined invitations to the Met Gala to watch the Knicks game and the Maple Leafs game, respectively. And he said, they're just like us. And I'm thinking, yeah, Mo, just like us. We turned down an invite to go to the Met Gala and hang with Kylie Kardashian Jenner or whatever the hell her name is, and or just like us. No, I don't think we're just like us, and I don't want to be like Bieber. Timothy Chalamet's got it going on right now, but I wouldn't wish. I don't want to be like Bieber. So that's what he's got money, but he's got more problems than money. This kid. But this next one is too good. Ooh, Vegas are pressing here on the power play. This next one's too good here, Mo. Here's Scottie Pippen. Man, he's got Scottie Pippen out here looking like the retired Redskins logo.
I saw this. That was great.
Looks like you could put him on the side of a football helmet. He really does. He looks like the old logo.
I thought it was Morgan Freeman. From the profile look, I was like, wait, I couldn't believe it. Scottie Pippen aged. I don't know what happened with this guy. He's a good-looking guy.
He went out with that girl, Lara Pippen, wasn't it? I think this is what happened to him. It's just like he aged a lot.
I feel like it's AI generated, but again, this is him. This is unbelievable. This is really like
I was thinking the same thing too. It has to be a little excessive. I don't know. I think someone just put the hair on the head, but it really does look like the logo there. That's just too good. All right, Mo. CEBL basketball season is getting ready to tip off, so we're gonna have another sport to bet on. Not every sports book has it, but some do, and we'll root out the ones and let everybody know. But what's the teams that we should be keeping our eye on as the season's set to begin here, Mo?
So the 3 big teams will be the defending champions, Niagara River Lions, who had a phenomenal run last year under Coach Razzo. They brought back their core group. And again, CEBL is not your traditional sports league, whereas it's more or less mercenaries you're hiring, like one-year deals with these guys here. But the guys that they brought in are definitely championship caliber. Scarborough Shooting Stars, that's a team owned by Drake's boys. They're always competitive, and they'll be in that conversation. And from the West, in your backyard, the Vancouver Bandits, they are a team that are going to be fascinating to watch. They could be a wild card in this whole process. They lost in the finals to Niagara last year in Montreal in the Final Four. So I think right now, if you have to pick, I think it would be Niagara and Vancouver in a rematch in the finals come late August this year.
Yeah, and you know what? The Vancouver Bandits, they're going to get some social media coverage, Mo, this year due to the fact that they signed Tristan Jass. So, people, when you see this Jazz kid, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I've seen him. He's that dunker kid, YouTube trick shot guy. But he's had better dunks at the All-Star games. You know what I mean? He does, he puts on a show, and people are like, how come he's not in this? This kid is amazing. The Vancouver Bandits signed him. So, we could see some highlight reels. We'll see if he can play in a real game now. Great stuff. Other than that, you're on your own later.